embryo implantation so that the babies are born between January and March.
Possibly the weirdest thing about binturongs are their scent glands.
These exposed glands are located next to their genitals, and they'll use them to leave scent marks on everything that they sit on or rub up against. Sometimes they will even—
It is Jason! Jason's Voltron! Oh my god!
I want the animal to go away.
pee on their large bushy tail.
What do you
and use
mean?
It
It has it rubs its ball sack on everything.
to mark trees in their territory.
But the weird thing is that it
Wait, I
smells
want to
like—
hear that again.
Even pee on their large bushy tail and use it as a brush to mark trees in their territory.
It pees on its tail and paintbrushes pee on things. Why doesn't it just pee on the thing?
But the weird thing is that it smells like popcorn.
The reason their scent glands smell like popcorn is because of a chemical reaction present in their glands that is also present in the making of popcorn. It's called the Maillard reaction. This chemical reaction,
We have
sometimes called
so
the Browning
much
reaction,
popcorn in the house right now. Oh, fuck, it's great.
is the same one that occurs when cooking meat, making bread, or in a lot of
Wait.
reactions.
The weird thing is that it smells like popcorn.
The reason their scent glands smell like popcorn is because of a chemical reaction present in their glands that is also present in the making of popcorn. It's called the Maillard reaction. This chemical reaction,
It's
sometimes
piss
called the
makes the
Browning
fucking Maillard reaction?
Their piss is the Maillard. The Maillard reaction is basically...
It's what makes your meat taste good when it's all black and crispy.
Yeah, when you cook meat. It's the protein plus the glucose plus the temperature kind of creating that nice crisp sear.
Yeah.
Their
I love
piss
that.
smells like the most expensive steak you could buy.
reaction.
Okay, I'm
It's the
sorry.
same
I'm
one that
glad we
occurs when
continued
cooking
watching
meat,
this. I'm
making
sorry,
bread,
I
or in a lot of
suggested
other cooked
going over to
foods.
the-
Binturongs, however, have a bacteria in their intestinal tract that is responsible for producing this delicious-smelling compound, which they use to communicate.
So if you're ever around a binturong and you smell popcorn, just remember, you smell their genitals.
Binturongs
You know what? You know what's insane about that? They used castoreum from beaver's butt glands to make vanilla artificial vanilla.
What if they made liquid smoke with his fucking, like, Maillard piss?
What if like popcorn seasoning is Voltron pee? This is crazy.
are a vulnerable species, and their numbers have declined by 30%
Well,
over the
I
last
think
18 years.
That makes sense to me.
I mean-
Imagine if something it's like carnivorous predator and it's walking around smelling like popcorn.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. We can't even like open a bag of wet lunch meat ham without Jinjee freaking out.
Or if we open a bag of popcorn, he's right there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the main culprits is poaching.
They are killed for their meat and skin, as well as captured to be sold in the
I
exotic
mean,
pet
I would
trade.
think their
But the
meat tastes
major-
popcorny.
I do not condone poaching for meat and skin.
No, I don't.
Or
but
for skin. Well, I mean, I guess if you're gonna kill something, use the whole.
use a whole animal, but
reason for their population loss is habitat degradation due to deforestation.
The forests that they live in are being knocked down at increasing rates to make room for the palm oil industry.
Not only do they eliminate
I love that.
Oh, sorry.
in the exotic pet trade,
I went to switch. Jason made me feel bad because he can't see his son, and we're mandated by the court to let pluviophilian see his son, Jinjee.
but the major
condone
reason for their
poaching
population
eggies.
loss is habitat degradation due to deforestation.
The forests that they live in are being knocked down at
Oh.
increasing rates to
I
make room for the
projects.
palm oil industry.
Not only
They
do they
do look
eliminate critical
awfully
binturong habitats by
testicular,
cutting
though.
down vast stretches of forest to make
Sheriff
room for palm oil
McLaughlin
plantations,
has an
but during
egg.
the logging process, they build roads into otherwise inaccessible rainforests, making it easier for
oil,
poachers
yeah.
to drive in and pick off any binturongs looking for a new tree to climb.
But the good news is, you can
how
help.
interesting
Many of the problems
that
facing different animals seem
isn't
impossible.
palm oil? Or no, it's coconut oil. But no, coconut's a palm. Coconut palm.
Yeah, but palm oil is what they're basically pumping everything full of that's making everybody not healthy.
Yeah, but I was also gonna say how ironic that like it's like coconut oil, like coconut palm oil that's used in making popcorn.
Gross. It's true. See, this is such an interest. Honestly, this still looks like AI to me.
For a single person to help make a difference. But with binturongs and the many other species in Southeast Asia whose numbers are drastically declining due to increased demand for palm oil, you can make a difference with your purchasing decisions.
Palm oil is found in a lot of everyday products, and some of the biggest
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is, unfortunately, as we have said, it doesn't make it easier to swallow, but ethically, you can do your very, very, very best to try and have no one negatively affected at the other end of what is creating that commodity, but it is technically impossible.
Mark, did you say she needs more coffee because she's talking fast? We do have it at 1.5
Oh, yes.
speed.
Yes, I sometimes jack up the speed, so it's not just like us sitting here like.
We have like, we don't want to get copyright claimed on stuff, and I know that sounds like, but we do receive notifications from YouTube being like, you've played copyrighted material between this time and this time, and like, not that we can monetize anything. But it's like it like lets you know that it would impact stuff. So it's like
Not necessarily, hun. Anything on YouTube has. Well, top of the morning to ya.
Hello.
Top of the Wednesday, the freaking hump day. We got bracken coming in from the brackish water at the beach.
I do have to wonder what kind of beaches they have in England. Wouldn't it be like all kind of like full of pebbles and a little bit cold?
Yes, actually, do you have a beach that we could bring up on Google Maps for reference? Our beaches aren't.
We have some nice beaches,
but they're all considered river beaches. Is that
lakes?
Yes.
Inland water bodies.
Some beaches are stony and some are sandy and lovely. So saith Philip.
We have one that's close to us that has amethyst sand.
Yeah, amethyst sand. It's got flakes of like
it's really pretty.
In it.
It's a little bit purple sometimes.
Formby Beach. They
have a real good view of the cat's bum.
Oh, do they?
Oh, speaking of cat butt, should I tell them what made me jump up out of bed at like fucking 3:30 in the morning?
Well, it depends on the level of trauma.
It's too late because I've already started speaking on this. So, you wake up at like 3:30 in the morning, as sometimes you normally do, especially when your cat comes and lays down on you. So,
Jason.
The cat is like laying between my legs, and then he stands up and is kind of standing between me and Evan, and I just like go to pet him, and like like when you pet your cat, when you get to its tail, you kind of like put your hands around its tail to do a long tail squeeze. As I was going to do a long tail squeeze, I realized there was a fucking turd dangling from his butt. He had gone poop, and it was a little bit dry, and like it was attached by hair. He had fucking dingleberries in my bed. And so I jumped out of bed at 3:30 in the morning having to remove dingleberries from the fucking cat ass. That was my 3:30 a.m. experience. That was not too fun.
Literally the only person that has to do that other than you is Mrs. Levity. I'm just kidding.
I know, you're going to get dingleberries sometimes. It's just, I wish the dingleberries happened during the day when I was awake.
Hello, Danny and Jason and Bracken and Mr. Levity, you beautiful people. I just put a piece of sandwich in my mouth when you said that I had poop on him. Oh, God, you gotta love yourself a nice sandwich. Gotta love a nice sandwich. I didn't sleep at all, so I feel her pain. Yeah, I actually was quite amazed when I realized what time it was when we woke up, because I honestly thought like I had to be like 3 in the morning.
It was 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I just felt I was so like bleh. But no, I mean this morning at like 7:30 or it was just after 7, and I was just kind of like, holy crap, I can't believe that
we slept in.
Yeah, usually like but slept in without feeling well slept,
yeah.
You know? I sleep within 10 seconds of hitting the pillow usually. Freaking lucky. Oh, I already said that. I feel bad for that. See what happens when you have no sleep? You repeat yourself like an idiot.
Jacob Tutu.
Jacob Tutu.
Isn't that a Canadian thing? You don't really know.
Who said that?
I said well, no.
It's a hockey player.
I said Jacob Tutu. No, it's a book. Isn't it like it was a cartoon? Jacob Tutu?
Jacob Tutu?
Yeah, it's about a little boy who says things twice because in his family no one pays attention to him.
Oh, I'm thinking. Oh, it's a Canadian animated TV series?
Yes!
What in the...
Jacob Tutu!
What in the blimey? It's Jacob Tutu. Jacob Tutu. I'm so envious of people that can just fall asleep. Right? I honestly have a hard time. But... It's a Canadian animated TV series based on the Jacob Tutu books written by Mordecai Richler. Rickler?
I remember the books, because obviously the cartoon came out when I was
It aired in 2003.
finishing high school, but I remember the books when I was a kid. And yeah, it's about like
Canadian content.
a little boy who says things twice because
Jacob Tutu meets the Hooded Fang.
nobody in his family pays attention to him, so he has to repeat himself all the time. And I feel that deep in my soul, Jacob Tutu.
Jacob Tutu and the Dinosaur, also known as the Dinosaur. That one came out when you were born. The youngest child, series overview.
Jacob is the youngest child of 5. He has to say things twice because people do not hear him the first time, which led to his distinctive nickname. The character was once believed to have been inspired by Jacob Rickler, the author's youngest son. Every character in Jacob's family has the same name as their counterpart in the real Rickler family. However, despite the names, Rickler stated that the characters were not based on his family.
That is my annoying voice. Philip Talkington. You beautiful boy. I was laughing. Oh, here we go. I was laughing my ass off at work watching your video on that horribly scary snake eye animal today at work. Yes, we got some laughs.
Snake Eye?
Well, at the end of that one, like the Jason, the Binturong.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
When we're like, it's got fucking snake eyes. It looks like it has twice been filmed. And the later starring Gary Busey. Oh my god. It was produced by Nilvana.
I feel like it was meant to be because we.
Mr. Levity, if this doesn't work, I'm going to cry. I was promised TTS by doing this, and it had better work this time.
The TTS work.
Gary Busey's been mentioned before by us, so it feels part of our lore.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure the TTS works. That's the only reason I cut you off, because Mr. Levity dropped us a dono.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Levity.
It read them both at once. I thought it seemed a little befuddled. Thank you, though. You beautiful, beautiful man. Where is this movie? We have to find it now. Jacob Tutu. We're going to have to find if it has...
Pluviophilian also donated. So, thanks, Jason.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. This one's from Pluviophilian and this one's from Mr. Levity. Super. Oh, thank you guys, both of you. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. You guys are very kind to us, very sweet, very loving. Oh, why do I have that open? Oop, get out of here. I wanted to try and find this movie with Gary Busey. Freaking the Buse man himself. Great minds think alike. Saves me buying alcohol. Well, we can't get you drunk.
I heard about this, that they're making a new Wonka movie with Timothée Chalamet as Willy Wonka.
I mean, he does look like a Wonka, but he doesn't look old enough. I don't. So, we want to watch the trailer after? No. Because the only thing I'm wondering is if this is maybe him as a younger version of himself.
Yes, because I think also in the movie he gets older and he gets played by somebody else at some point.
Isn't it? Oh, you mean in the same movie?
Yes.
Is there a backstory to Willy Wonka?
If you make a backstory, I mean, if you create a character, you have to assume it has a backstory of some sort.
Will Willy
right?
Wonka eventually become public domain and people could make a Willy Wonka horror movie?
Eventually, yeah, it'll become public domain.
Because I know someone just did that with Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, I think it's like, I want to say like 100 years or something like that. After, or it has to do with like the death of the creator or something. I don't know. It's different for different types of works. I don't know.
What was that kid's name again? Johnny Tutu?
Jacob Tutu.
Gary Busey. You gotta be kidding me.
Mark McKinney?
Apparently, they touched on the backstory in the Johnny Depp one. The Johnny Depp one was so dumb, though. He looked like a freak of nature with his face paint.
I think Mark McKinney. Scroll down, because I'm pretty sure. No, scroll down.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, Mark McKinney from fucking Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the Hall. It is Canadian. I think she's from.
She's been in a bunch of shit.
Corner Gas. Crying Game, Fighter, The Hours, and Sleepy Hollow.
I've seen Sleepy Hollow.
He kind of looked like. Sleepy Hollow is a good movie. Not as good as Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, but
Ice-T?
that freaking title.
Ice-T's in it?
Shut up. How do we not see Ice-T?
Oh, there he is. I see him.
Freaking Ice-T.
We might need to watch this.
She looks familiar, but I think she's one of those people that looks like a bunch of people.
No, she's definitely, click on her. She's definitely been in something we've seen. For sure.
Yes, for sure.
For sure.
For freaking sure.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Yeah, I've seen that.
I've also seen
I've
Dune.
seen Milk.
I
think there's other stuff I've seen her in. Star Trek Picard. We saw her in Star Trek Picard.
Yes, she's...
Oh, and American Horror Story.
Yeah, we did stop watching Star Trek Picard, though. Apparently it gets better. The unfortunate thing, though, is they make him look like just the most feeble, useless old man. Who everyone's like, wow, let's tote this old man around space because he's...
We watched the first season and then we stopped because I really felt like it ruined the legacy of Picard.
Apparently, though, he helped write it.
That makes me sad for him.
This guy has been in lots of things, too.
Maury Chaykin.
Yeah, you might, if there's another picture, he's been in comedies, for sure. Tons of them, as like a cop dad
my
figure.
Cousin Vinny. Dances with Wolves. Yeah, for sure. I've never seen that movie. I've never seen Dance. Maybe I did when I was a child.
I've seen this. Yeah, is there a trailer for this?
There has to be.
I mean,
maybe we check the YouTubes.
Jacob Tutu meets the Hooded Fang. Probably free on YouTube with ads, or like Tubi or something like that. Oh, here's the whole thing.
Well, no, that's the one from 1977.
Oh yes, that's right. It was filmed twice.
Yeah. Oh, there it is, the trailer right underneath. Jacob Tutu meets a Hooded Fang trailer.
No.
This feature film stars Gary Busey.
Freaking the Buse Master himself. Oh, sorry, I have it muted.
Here,
No, it's not. It's fucking Evan. Sorry, guys, I'm a dum-dum. It's right up here. I did that earlier. What happened to Jacob 1-1 or Jacob 2-1 or Jacob 1-2?
No, it's muted on the...
Oh, sorry, my water cup was in the way. It was double muted. You know what they say, double bag it for protection. There's sound now? Yay!
Yes. For one very brave boy.
More tomatoes, please.
A simple journey.
Officer, help. Is he threatening violence? I demand justice.
I demand justice?
Becomes
He's
the
like 2.
adventure of a lifetime.
I think we watched this. We watched this movie?
Oh, I thought you said we did.
No.
Ice-T's the judge? Oh my god.
We need to watch this.
Mr. Levity, it even has pro wrestling.
We need to watch this.
Jacob Tutu will be fed to the hungry giant vicious crocodile.
I'm not gonna lie, I've assumed Gary Busey has fed children to crocodiles before.
Probably.
I should have known it.
Hey, that was
That's Mark McKinney.
Yeah. He's also in that show Superstore.
You might know Mark McKinney from I'm Squishing Your Head. Squish, squish.
I actually think we still have that command. It was actually Hanwei Candy World that redeemed it. I'm pretty sure.
I'm
Yeah, crushing.
Yeah.
I'm crushing
So
your
that's
head.
from Kids in the Hall. It's a Canadian comedy troupe.
Yeah.
There's like 4 of them.
Oh, let me grind.
I can't remember.
Well, build this rope.
There's the guy who directed the Tragically Hip music video, Music at Work.
Yeah, he's probably the most.
Yeah, and then Mark
only
McKinney,
4.
and then the guy was like the brown frizzy hair, and then the other blonde guy.
Dave is
Dave Foley. No, there is 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So and then there's the guy who sings. Most of them are Dave.
Yeah, that's Dave
Some
Foley.
of us are David.
That's Dave Foley.
I don't
then
think
there's
that
also
is.
the
I think Dave Foley is the one I was thinking of, the most famous one.
No. So when I said the guy who directed the Tragically Hip music video, that's not who I was talking about. You
Yeah,
said
I know.
You said the most famous one, and I said
Is
okay.
Dave Foley.
Yeah, but that wasn't who I was talking about, so that's why. So there's the guy who directed the Tragically Hip music video. I can't remember his name. He's very short. And then there's Mark McKinney. And then there's the guy with the curly, dark brown hair. And yeah, let's just look up the Kids in the Hall cast. There's 5 of them.
I just watched the Wonka trailer. It was crap.
Scott Thompson, that's it, and Kevin McDonald and Bruce McCullough.
So
those are the 5.
These are them. Actually, yeah, this guy's pretty. You know what? To say he's the most famous is incorrect.
Yeah.
At one point, I believe maybe he showed up more in stuff, but I think Mark McKinney has.
And Kevin McDonald's been consistently in a lot of stuff too.
One of the actually very interesting things about this is a huge bit of theirs in almost every at least episode was that one of them would cross dress.
Oh, they all cross dressed all the time. Yeah.
You know how little of a deal people made about that?
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's like literally the most horrifying thing you could think of happening.
Well, it's because basically
in Florida?
it was just them acting in their skits, and if they wrote a female character, they had to play a female character. The same with Monty Python.
Yeah.
They're like the Canadian Monty Python.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to put it.
Ice-T, Maury Chaykin, Miranda Richardson, Mark McKinney, Gary Busey.
Honestly, that's almost a command in itself. Gary Busey. Help! Help!
Mark McKinney, Gary Busey.
Honestly, we might have to make that a clip. Gary Busey. Help! Help!
Gary Busey. And introducing Max Morrow, Mordecai Richler's Jacob Tutu meets the Hooded Fang.
Hey, Deadweight Nate.
Did you see the look of that kid's face?
Jacob Tutu. Oh my God, Gary Busey.
Can we watch this tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, though, I'm going to that website.
JacobTutu.com. I can't believe you'd never heard of Jacob Tutu. I hope this still exists.
Huge domains. JacobTutu.com. Buy it now for $1,695.
I won't be watching this.
Yes, you will.
I mean, you watch Dragon Ball Evolution.
Jacob Tutu. Who would have freaking thunk it? Deadweight Nate, we are watching Mrs. Krissy. She is talking about a Canadian show that I didn't know about.
I made a reference to the character Jacob Tutu.
4.3 out of 5.
Jason repeated himself multiple times, so then I was like, oh, like Jacob Tutu. And it seems that I'm the only one who seems to fucking know what this shit is. So
this is who I was thinking of.
Not at all who I was thinking of.
He is a Canadian hockey player named Jordan Tutu. So when you said Jacob Tutu, I was like, why do you know about him?
And it's not Jacob, not Jordan.
I know.
Jason, let me start that off. Not the TV show. The TV show didn't exist till I was in high school. My knowledge is of the books, because that's what was around when I was a kid, was the books. And then this obviously came out when I was 12. I never watched this. But now as an adult, I have interest in watching this because Gary Busey is part of the lore of this channel.
Yeah. The Spruce Moose Goose Buse.
Okay, I will say my favorite show as like a kid when I was very, very, very young was Today's Special, starring Jeff the Mannequin and Muffy the Mouse, and I can't remember the name of the lady who like was the head of the department store. And there was also Sam the security guard. Most of these are puppets. Muffy the Mouse and Sam the security guard are puppets.
While I build this rope.
Today's Special.
Yeah.
Was that a Canadian show?
Krissy's favorite movie has a long rope in it. Does
anybody else know
blocks
Today's
are probably
Special?
Not bad for kids, but the books are probably not. Oh, the Jacob Tutu books? Yeah, I mean, a child doesn't possess the capacity to conjure up something as scary as Gary Busey. So books are fine. You know, it's not until you put those villains to film sometimes the horror begins. You know?
It's true.
This looks bad just because of the acting, and also Gary Busey's terrifying. Jason, I might even have to delete that. I'm just kidding.
Have you heard? Do you know Today's Special?
What do you mean? Like what's on the menu?
No, it was
food?
like a cart because they said
What's
that
the
was
soup
my
du
favorite.
jour?
My favorite show when I was a kid, but this was like legit my favorite
This
show.
one?
Yes.
The show?
Yes. I know it only ran from 81 to 87. I was born in 87, but I watched it in reruns. And this show was like my favorite show when I was little.
The night staff of a
8
major...
out of 10.
Oh, that's pretty good.
The night staff of a major department store explore topics for young viewers. Today's Special.
Apparently, I was really
What does that
emotionally
even
affected in one episode where there is like drinking involved.
Oh, wait.
It has Muffy the Mouse, Jeff the Mannequin,
Muffy the Mouse.
Sam the security guard.
I seen something that said Toronto. Trivia.
The store is a series based on the Toronto outlet of the now-defunct Simpsons department store chain, a major Canadian retailer business with the ultimate purchase in
The Hudson Bay Company, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. Muffy the Mouse.
So yet again, some more Canadian content for you.
I ranked this the top 10 show of my childhood.
Yeah.
Oh shit, did I just walk into Today's Special?
Yeah.
I think you did. I think you did.
You did, Mark. You know Today's Special.
Also, Mark, did you know...
Yeah, no, Muffy the Mouse doesn't have like a great ring about it.
Have
now
you
in
ever
2023,
heard of a
but-
movie called the Jacob Tutu movie?
starring Gary Busey?
Mark McKinney, Gary Busey.
We might make that a command.
We also might watch this movie. It looks bad, but fun.
Today's Special. It's actually, we're making a nice pastrami on rye with the side of sauerkraut. That's Today's Special.
We'll just play the intro.
Doo-wee-doo-wee-doo-wah-pa.
It's Jeff the Mannequin.
Retrojunk.com.
And I always thought the lady who ran the retail store was just so glamorous looking.
So is this where I got my thing for mannequins? I'm just kidding.
Well, I guess that's all locked up tight now, as it should be.
As it should be.
Hi there, Jody.
Oh,
Jody, that's her name.
Well, everything's all safe down here. Let's go upstairs. Your hand with him isn't too heavy.
No, I can manage fine, thank you.
Well, on our way to the children's department once again.
The children's department once again.
Okay, it's clear. The customers have all gone home now.
This looks familiar, but it's also... Yeah, it does look familiar.
I love that this is the intro to every episode, too. Muffy the Mouse.
That is so familiar.
Today's
Quite scary.
It's for everyone.
It's like old school animatronics.
Today's special. Come join in the fun. With magic everywhere.
See what Jason said?
A world for us to share.
And friendly faces hoping that you want to meet us there.
I'll also say, like, my first celebrity crush was Jeff the Mannequin.
It's about to appear.
Is that why we had that cutout of David Tennant in the basement for like...
No, it had nothing to do with the show.
Shout it loud and clear.
Today's freaking special, I tell you what.
Today's special is adventure.
Adventure.
Today's special. Oh, what? This one is top quality? I just want to. No.
Yeah, that's top quality from like 87. What do you expect?
Wait there. All right. There must be something.
Hey, it looks like, yeah, right? It does look like Fraggle Rock.
Nate, did you live close at all to the border where you got some of our Canadian programming?
Don't you guys remember, like, when you had your job and at night when everyone would go home, you'd hang out with the mice and the mannequins like you weren't a crackhead?
Jason, I did. Okay, so my mom did message me the other day asking, who's Jason? And I just said, you're our moderator. And that's all I said. And she gave me a thumbs up. And that was the end of the conversation. So I didn't make you look any way in particular other than, like, I gave you a job title.
Yeah. We told you you're the champion of the spelling bee.
Yeah.
Even though I think I beat you yesterday. No, never lived near the border.
Weird.
Well, you were just one of the fortunate ones.
Yeah, you're just fortunate enough to get some Canadian public broadcasting.
Oh, hey, isn't that Jeff's hat over there?
Puppets were like... They were like when people used to draw babies in like the Middle Ages. Yeah. They have that like uncanny valley, like broken animatronic... I love it. Like from Goof Troop, kind of like make you feel weird sensation.
Do you remember when we went to the Christmas tree display at the Western Development Museum in Saskatoon, and they had like those old Eaton's animatronics from the 1950s on display?
Yeah, in that case.
There was like a whole department of these like 1950s, and it was nightmare fuel.
I swear to God, one of them was used in like a black magic ritual. It looked like it had been like burnt and reassembled itself after being incinerated.
So, Philip, here's the answer about Fraggle Rock. I liked Fraggle Rock, but it actually aired on HBO. I was not rich enough growing up that my family could afford the channels that it aired on. So I didn't see it until like way later when I was kind of like a preteen as reruns on like the retro cartoon station. But I had seen like clips here and there, but it was actually like an HBO show. And my family was quite poor and we did not have the HBO channel.
And nobody, it wasn't that your family was poor. Nobody had it. I had like one friend who had it and his dad like hacked his satellite dish by taping like magnets to it and like paying the neighbor $50 to run cables through the trees and shit. Like that was the only person I knew that had HBO.
Yeah. But maybe it was a Canadian thing. In Canada, I didn't have regular access to Fraggle Rock till much later.
I'm trying to find a picture of these creepy ass animatronics.
But you also had like more tiers of television than I did.
Yeah, you guys, we
had like the poor person tier of television.
Yeah, you had like up to channel 21 and I had to up to like channel 68.
No, 24 because 24 was Much Music.
They couldn't have channel 69. It just wasn't in the budget. Actually, no, it went up to like 47 and then it skipped to like 61, 64, and 68 or some shit. The worst thing in the world was when you went to stay in a hotel and it was in another place and you'd go to like the channel you were used to going to and you're like, what the fuck is this? And you had to pull out the TV guide. Oh, it's on this channel.
Fairy tale vignettes. Why would you refer to this as a fairy tale? Unless I guess if you're talking about like the Grimm Brothers fairy tales.
Yeah, I'm trying to find one of the dolls. I found the bears. They look odd and disturbing. Like it was like, I guess it looks a little bit more innocent than, you know, intended at the moment. But like, even if you look at like these bears' faces, not that one. He looks cute. Leave him out of it. Leave Corduroy out of this. You know Corduroy?
Corduroy Bear?
Yeah. Corduroy Bear. I love the Corduroy Bear.
I remember these books.
I had this one. I don't know why I loved it so much. Is corduroy not a fabric?
Yes, it's that like ribbed fabric.
Yeah, like how like everyone was wearing those jeans in the 90s that were made out of fucking corduroy, or the early 2000s, and if you like ran your fingers across it, it sounded like you were playing one of those instruments.
Jason, here in Canada, our I guess Farmer Vision is what we called it. You would get channels 3, which was the French channel.
Corduroy.
And 3, 5, which was global news. That's also Canadian. And then you would get channel. Oh, I know you get CTV.
Hey, they did make a corduroy bear.
You get CTV, and I think it was it, right? It was just like the 3 channels on the. Or were there 4 channels on the Farmer Vision? Channel 3, which was French. Channel 3 is always French here in Canada. It's the French channel.
Yeah.
And then, well,
PBS.
Yeah. Well, no, you wouldn't get PBS on
I thought you did though.
On Farmer Vision. No, on Farmer Vision it was the French channel, Global News, CTV, and I think that was it. Just the 3, wasn't it? Or maybe there was a 4th one of some sort. Was it the? I can't remember.
I think that would be almost too hard to find.
Oh yeah, well, and I know they've also ended Farmer Vision. You can't,
yeah, like, but even just for it would only have been in our area.
Yeah, well, I know. I think they made it so like Farmer Vision, you always got in Canada the French Global News and CTV, because those are like the and CBC and CH. Okay, and Channel 9. Okay, so we got CBC as well. Yeah, that makes sense. CBC. Yeah, CBC, CTV, and Global News.
One was Fox?
No, not Fox was Channel 31. Fox was a tier like you had to pay for. We never had Fox News. At least I never had Fox News.
Yeah, well, I guess that's Jason. Sorry, I scratched the mic with my fingernail. I guess we always had at least, because there was like the one that was like rabbit ears analog, and then there was like
that's Farmer Vision.
Yeah, a regular tier of television.
Yeah,
which was
up to Channel 24, which is the one that I had.
And then there was the one that I had, which was up to, like I said, like Channel 50 or some shit.
Yeah,
and so we got the Superstation and Teletoon.
Yeah, and Family Channel. You got the good cartoon channels.
Isn't it weird how you kind of still remember the channel? Like, so I remember the channels of the shows and what station they were, and I remember phone numbers prior to me getting a cell phone. And now I don't think I remember any of that stuff.
The only 2 phone numbers I remember they're no longer useful phone numbers, are my mom's Moose Jaw phone number, and she doesn't live in Moose Jaw anymore, and my dad's phone number, and my dad has passed away, so like that's a phone number to nowhere. It's probably been reassigned to somebody else.
Well, I know
anybody else got a landline.
My cousin's phone number from when I was a kid, and my grandma and grandpa's like an hour, like my phone number growing up that nobody has anymore in our family. It's just weird how we remember so many. It's like now, like I know your phone number.
I have a really difficult time remembering number combinations and like number letter combinations. For example, they wanted to actually hold me back in kindergarten because I couldn't remember certain things like that. Like I could never remember my address. I to this day struggle remembering addresses, specifically postal codes. And I also didn't know how to spell my last name. But in my defense, my last name was not specifically easy to spell. But yeah, I did not fail kindergarten. My mom basically went to the kindergarten teacher and was like, My child is not stupid. She has some issues right now. You should pass her. She'll be fine.
Krissy failed kindergarten. Actually, yeah, wasn't it the parents' choice to hold kids back at a certain level?
Yeah, frick off land.
Frick off land. Yeah, I'm
My last name is a variant of frick off land. My maiden last name.
I have this like portion of sponge that exists somewhere in my brain that kind of remembers things like my debit card number.
Plugged into this hemisphere right here. Just the tip, about this much of it.
Like I remember my debit card PIN number and my like postal code from the house we grew up in and stuff like that. But I don't like try to memorize it, and I don't get to choose what stays in there. And that's why at this age in my life, I've realized that it doesn't make you more manly or stronger to be able to stare at the TV when something horrible is happening, because nothing is worth allowing that imagery and the scene to seep into that sponge, to always be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say an address I have no problem remembering is Santa Claus, North Pole, HOHOHO.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, so like the most useless postal code on the planet.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't actually go anywhere.
HOHOHO. It goes to Santa.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it goes to Krampus and he wipes his ass with it.
I think it goes to Santa.
The mailing stuff would have sucked back in the day. You had to remember so much. Ho 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 is the address for my ex-wife. She's been getting all the things I want for Christmas. 3 hoes. Can I have the famous wiener? There was only a couple of things that popped up that I thought might be interesting to talk about. One we had kind of actually touched on mildly in the previous, I don't know, do we call them streams, episodes? I like to put numbers so I know which one it is.
Previous streams of thought.
Previous ADHD sessions.
Yes.
I had a wiener last night. Mustard and ketchup.
I made
we're just mustards.
I made us a really good supper last night, actually. So we have a convection oven, right? And on the bottom roasting pan, I put like a bunch of carrots, like a shitload of carrots, and then a few like baby pearl garlic cloves.
That our neighbor, she pulled some out of the ground
and
for us.
And then on like the dripping pan for the meats, I made like a bunch of like bacon twirls. So I took bacon and I like twirled it, so it was like a long twirly stick, and then I placed it on like the baking pan. So as the bacon baked, it dripped its fats down on the carrots, and that's what we had for supper. It was real good. And then we walked over to our neighbors, and I picked a pint of raspberries that I ate for dessert.
I didn't wear the right shoes, and I had already had a shower, so I didn't want my feet to get all muddy.
He just didn't like grab any from the bowl as I was shoving them in my mouth.
Well, sometimes I have like acidity problems in my stomach. Not like that's a self-diagnosis. My doctor, it's from like the pills and stuff. My doctor just straight up says, "Oh yeah, let's talk about that."
We do need to like that is what we.
My doctor tells me to eat a bunch of white bread to absorb it because of.
There was no keeping the frog.
So, the rake of destiny.
The rake of destiny.
I actually totally forgot that's was
what we
thing.
called this today's rant.
Yes, the rake of destiny has once again saved the lives of a small creature that was in danger, immediate danger.
So should I start the story and then you finish it? Since that's how it happened in real life.
We should maybe just do a quick regale of Parm.
The previous use of the rake.
Do you want to tell it, or do you want me to
I had really no participation in that other than sitting inside the camper freaked out.
You can tell the second what do you call like the lore of the The rake of destiny.
The lore of the rake
Jinjee
of
butt
destiny.
wiggle.
It is a rake that we bought.
So we bought a rake. It is. It has several tines. It is wood in body. A gripped handle that says Yardworks elegantly stamped across it.
In a nice teal green.
So on a cold winter morning.
Was it a winter or early fall? Late
there
fall.
was snow on the ground. I have pictures of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe I'll put them in Discord. I think I did a long time ago. But basically, there was this thing walking around by our driveway. And I didn't know what the hell it was and why it was just walking in circles.
Yeah.
So I slowly got closer to it, like, you know. And I got close enough with my phone that I could zoom in. And I was like, holy shit. It's a skunk with a Parmesan cheese container stuck on its head.
Yes.
And it's just been walking in circles for hours. And, you know, so then I come inside and we're like talking it out. Like,
we're like, what do we do?
What the hell do we do? Like, we don't have the means to clean ourselves appropriately if we get sprayed by a skunk. Because I think you got to lay in a bathtub full of tomato juice or some shit.
We can't do that out here.
And so but we felt awful and we're like, what the hell? This is our Parmesan cheese that got into our garbage. Like, we got to do something. And then it's like walking around in circles, getting closer and closer to the highway. And it's like, oh my God. And then my neighbor, he goes out for his walk and we just happen to be outside trying to figure out what to do. And he's like, don't let it, like, one got hit on the highway years ago and it left a scent for months, he said.
Yeah.
It smelled like skunk for months. So it's like, well, what the fuck are we going to do about this? So I came back and I grabbed the destiny and I got close enough to it. Oh, sorry. The internet's kind of, internet is being dumb. Press the live button to refresh.
Jason, we do have a big muck tub. We just...
Oh, yeah. It actually has a sticker on it that says muck tub.
Yeah.
Muck tub. Like muck bin. So I get the break of destiny. My heart's going like way too fast.
Yeah. I'm watching from the camper because I don't want to get sprayed.
And our neighbor, who has been out here a lot longer, is
like
just
30
standing
years.
there having a good old time.
He's laughing his ass off at this whole situation.
I got close enough to it while it was walking in a circle, and I managed to stick a couple of the tines of the rake under the lip of the Parmesan cheese container that was stuck on his head. And it was the strangest thing, because you'd think he would have panicked, right? Mm-hmm. But it almost instinctually knew like something was holding it steady and this is my chance to escape. So it took its front paws and it's put it against the container, and I gave it like a whoop, and I was like pulling it forward because it only weighs like 10 pounds. And it's like, I'm like trying not to pull too hard. And all of a sudden, boom, its head pops out. It looks like Weasel
from like the movie Suicide Squad.
From Suicide Squad, and it's looking around like, and it puts its tail up. And me and you had gone back to the house, I think.
Yeah, I was terrified of getting sprayed by the skunk.
Yeah, so me and the neighbor like basically took like the biggest lunge steps backwards, and we were like 40 feet away from it like that. And the skunk just looked at us like it, and it just wandered off.
I'm sorry I didn't film it, Jason. I'm not a great cinematographer. It's not my first instinct is not to film things.
Honest, so maybe now we might be a little more in that mindset.
Well, our neighbor was like, we should have filmed this. You would have been famous on the internet.
Yeah, there was someone who was in the paper for helping ducks cross the road or some shit.
Yeah.
I was like, we saved goddamn skunk. So I'm highly disappointed. So the Rake of Destiny was then enshrined with superpowers and of life-saving abilities.
And the skunk's name officially became Little Parm.
Who we seen Several months later, just a couple months ago.
Oh, and, we also saw him just the other day, like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, sorry.
He was in our yard at like 8:45 in the morning eating cat food.
A lot of people stage that stuff. Oh, we should try and I'll find it maybe at some point, but there's someone filming themselves pick up trash on the beach. And then they drop the trash and walk away when they're done filming.
But anyways, back to the Rake of Destiny.
Rake of Destiny!
Let's not get too sidetracked, because I know how our brains work.
Yeah, but we can cut this up now.
This is true. So, literally yesterday,
bum, bum, bum.
I was in my little garden doing gardening things.
Fun.
And all of a sudden I hear...
Wow, that's a good impression.
And I was like, sorry,
Jinjee's like, what in the hell?
What the fuck is that? And so, me too. I am also like,
oh,
what
shit.
What the hell is that?
The dog's like, there's a frog in danger.
And so I start to wander over to where I'm hearing this noise in the tree line. And very quickly, I see a snake move. And my reaction is, oh, fucking shit, it's a snake. And then I ran away. And I said, Evan, there's a fucking snake over there.
Yeah,
and
so...
he said, where? And I said, just walk towards that sound.
Yeah, because it sounded like a bird.
Yeah.
And just for reference, the snake that we're referring to, it's not a poisonous snake. It's referred to as a garter snake.
Yeah, it's a garter snake.
So it's kind of, it has like a...
Kids catch them all the time and put them in ice cream buckets.
Yeah, it has a small head and it's like orange and yellow with a black body. But, so then I walked, I couldn't see because I have my sunglasses on. And I don't know, my hands are really dirty, so then I was like this.
Yeah, and he's like, I can't see it. And I go back over there, and I look, and I see it. And I can see the face of a little frog, like, sticking out. It's like,
yeah, the snake.
And it's like, I was just like, Evan has a frog in its mouth, and that's what's making the sound.
So I got close to it, or like I got close enough to see it, and surely enough, it had the snakes... The snakes had the frog's foot in its mouth while the snake was trying to escape.
Or the frog?
The frog, sorry.
Yeah.
And so the frog had one of its legs in the snake's mouth. And it's like so loud. And we were like, what do we do? Like...
And I like have like removed myself from the situation because I can't handle snakes. I'm like so... And then I also said to Evan, like, what do we do? It's nature. Like, it's like...
and so we were kind of like just like going back and forth, and we're like, shit. So then I grabbed the Rake of Destiny, and I basically
He's like,
was
should
like,
we save it? I'm like, well, the snake needs to eat too. It's nature. I don't know.
And yeah, so well, that's the thing. So basically, I took the Rake of Destiny. I pulled it from the stones like
King
Arthur.
Removing it from the stone.
Yeah,
okay.
I walked up to the bush and I literally reached out with my biceps were just getting rippled with fear and adrenaline, and I literally just
you like just touched it.
I
like,
bonked
it.
I went and I literally like bonked the snake on the body with one of the tines, and it let go of the frog, and the frog ran away, and then the snake slithered into the trees. So then I came back to the house. I was like, best case scenario.
It ended all of the screaming in our yard, which was quite nice, because I think that was the worst part of it. It's just like I said to Evan this morning, things get eaten in nature all the time. I just don't hear the screams of it dying in my yard.
It was horrendous.
Oh,
you guys
my
would have
God.
done it too. Simply, so we thought it was
Like
eating a baby bird.
Yeah, my impersonation of it was spot on. Oh, I'm not going to do it again.
Everyone's dogs are
I'm not going to do it again,
out.
but that was like spot on as to what it sounded like.
That's a powerful rake. Honestly,
that rake carries the power of life in it.
Sometimes when I walk near it, it just starts to like move towards me like Magneto. like Thor's hammer. I'm just going to eventually be like, rake! And then I'm going to learn to hold it like, what's his name? Ray Fiennes. Inagata Davida.
See, Mark, here's the thing. If it had eaten the frog head first and I didn't hear it screaming, we probably wouldn't have done anything about it.
Also, if the frog was like 3/4 being eaten, I probably just would have tried to kill the frog. If I'm being honest, as terrible as that sounds.
Like, I know things need to eat.
Yeah, and so the funny thing is,
the
Mark,
snake is living according to its dharma.
or cryo, I felt bad for the rest of the day, and even this morning I said to Krissy, I was thinking to myself, what do snakes eat? Can we throw something in the trees?
She's like, can I give cat food to the snake? And I was like, no, you can't give cat food to the snake.
Our objective is to feed everything so it doesn't have to feed on each other.
Everything dry cat food.
They go down better if they eat head first. Well, the other thing is, too, is like, it's not that we don't want the snake there, because if there was like little mice or something running around, the snake will eat the mice.
And it gives the birds something to eat.
And the birds will eat the snakes.
Yeah.
And like, we don't want to really like, we don't want to, Jason, that's so funny.
Probably.
I was thinking that too.
But at least a bird would have pecked it to death immediately, probably, and I wouldn't have heard the sound.
Dude, the thing is snakes... Oh, wait, no. They do eat things that are dead, right? Or do they...
Yeah, you can, like, I know people give them frozen mice all the time.
I'm not going to lie. I've seen a boa feeding once with a live mouse. And it was horrible.
I don't want to think about it. Let's not go further beyond that.
Yeah. It was called the feeding.
Yeah, that was our snake adventure yesterday. I'm also like, I'm not surprised, but not like super happy to know that there's snakes living in our tree line.
I guess it makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
I was actually more confused that frogs live there. Remember, I thought these things like water.
We saw like a little, like, was it a salamander or a newt?
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is, TBH. It looked like Ned's newt without the superpowers.
I think it was a salamander. It was very cute, though.
His name is Sal.
We've seen all kinds of wildlife out here. Like, honestly, seeing that bald eagle the other day was really crazy when we were driving back from the dump.
Yeah, the Rake of Destiny.
Yeah.
Powerful. It's not even actually the most intimidating rake we have.
No.
It's the normal rake.
Yeah.
The internet is being very fluctuative right now.
Do you think it fluctuates with Elon Musk's mood?
I think...
like, right now he's really sad about Threads. So the internet's being dumb because of it?
I might make a command so I don't have to type that out all the time.
Yeah.
That says, internet is dumb, press the live button to catch up. Yeah, my opinion, I'm guessing Elon Musk just sold half of the Starlink satellites to a fucking weather company because Threads is bending Elon over a barrel with like 100 million subscribers in like a week.
I thought
Not even a week. It was like 3 days.
We're even debating signing up for it for this channel if we want to, like, I don't know, increase our internet presence as Evan and Krissy.
People just, like, everything just says that you should do something.
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, this is, like, the most social... Sometimes we're more social than I prefer to be.
It's true.
Hence, one of the reasons, like, we went from Twitch to YouTube is that I can't keep up with all the social atmosphere of Twitch. It's so hard. You want to support and
everyone,
be there for everyone,
hard.
But meanwhile you also have things that you need to do, and it's tough. So we were like, well, we have a couple options, right? Stream longer, stream at a more, evening oriented time for most people.
But the two things you also just said you can't do because you're a disabled man.
Exactly.
Like, it's not that, like, you can't stream longer because you can't just sit. Like, this hurts him physically a lot, and like he can only sit like this for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
And then also in the evening.
And it's literally because I take my pills right before we start.
Yeah, and then by evening time you're like not zonked out.
I'm ready
but
for bed at
you're
6 p.m.
Yeah, exactly. We're like old people. Like if you invite us out past 7, like what the hell is wrong with you? We're already in pajamas.
Yeah, like we're in our 30s and we don't do cocaine. Of course we're not going out after 8 p.m.
Exactly.
Like, gosh darn.
I drink coffee and smoke marijuana. Like this is like, if you want to spend time with me, between 11 a.m. and like 6 p.m. Those are the golden hours.
But also that's a lot. I'm just kidding.
I'm not saying we can hang out all of that time.
Yeah, there's like an hour in there where I'm going to go lay down for a while, okay? I'm going to say I need to stretch, and then I'll wake up an hour and a half later and say, oh, I didn't mean to fall asleep on you. So, such is life. Everyone here is as old as a but we all feel like a binturong on the inside. Yeah. Just honestly, that face is the face. Where's that one?
I just look at it and I see Jason now.
I see a lovely Jason.
I see a PS1 Hagrid.
Is it PS1 Hagrid or PS2 Hagrid?
I thought it was I don't know.
So
early PS Hagrid.
Yeah, it's a little pixelated, but I mean, this face. I think this is the feeling of everybody on the inside lately. I think we all just feel like this thing. This is like 6 months old, by the way. I'm just kidding. I don't know. But like, I don't know. There's just something about the apathy in its face, and it looks like it lives a real hard life that really, it just hits you. You're like, I identify with this thing.
You know what it reminds me of?
We all can't be peacocks.
It reminds me of that episode of Full Metal Alchemist when the guy combines his like daughter with the dog, and that's like the outcome.
I think we talked about that.
That's like the look that animal
that
gave.
was like almost made me not want to watch anime anymore.
That was single-handedly like
and I
the
think that was
saddest
like the first
episode.
one we started watching.
Well, it's not the first episode. But...
Also, I guess before we talk about how Logan Paul took a big L, another big L. What the hell goes on with Dragon Ball? We watched Dragon Ball Evolution, 10 out of 10 IMDb, highly rated.
It's rated,
Kamehameha.
Don't pay attention to like the 2.5 rating that it has.
Jason.
You should go out and enjoy 2009's Dragon Ball Evolution. It is bad, but it's enjoyable.
And by it's opposite day, so bad means good.
Jason might say the ending ruins it. I say there's nothing about the ending that's any different than the rest of the movie. Again, I don't know how the ending ruins the movie. The movie itself is terrible. There's nothing about the ending that's so specifically much worse than the rest of the movie.
So, we started watching the anime, the original anime Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Fucking literally, we're on like episode 20.
We're that far?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like 19 or 20. Every single episode. Oh, Jinjee, what are you doing? I was just switching to you.
Oh, he's coming.
You go.
My name's Jason, and I like Jinjee.
Every single episode is Master Roshi being literally like to a degree of what would be considered like hospitalization for sex addiction.
Just a pervy old man.
Hebephilia or whatever with teenage or young women. And fucking Goku's little dinky everywhere. What the fuck? And it's kind of like when everyone defends things from the past, do they always go back and watch
it? Yeah.
Because everyone, like, if they, like, this live action Dragon Ball movie we watched, everyone's like, you're destroying what Dragon Ball is. And we rewatched it and we're like, well, you can't put that in a movie. Yeah, especially one that you expect anyone under the 18 only section to go to. Like, there, really, I just hated that. Oh yeah, okay, that monkey was. We will give you that.
Yes, we're watching the original Dragon Ball.
Yeah, the original Dragon Goku's balls is what we've been watching. This is just like two little semicircles.
Well, it's like one semicircle with another little semicircle inside of it.
I just, like I said, I know people who I've heard it gets better. I don't think it's that bad.
No,
Jason, you should really watch it, bro.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
It's
we're not watching it from the lens of today.
No.
But for me, sometimes I think to myself, because like I like where would I get the idea that being so incessant towards, you know, someone you're attracted to is normal, and it's just littered throughout everything we watched growing up.
Okay, Jason, I will say, when they show Goku's like weenie, that's not sexual.
But when Master Roshi is literally when what's her name anything
with Bulma, or right now they have that other
the one who sneezes and she
she's not in it forever.
He's literally trying to poke her boobies while she's passed out.
Yeah,
and that's different. If you're gonna watch Z, you should watch the Kai version. It's supposed to be much more faithful to the manga. Okay. We did see that come up.
Yeah.
Old man pervert is ancient anime trope that will never die. Old men, they're okay. So,
but maybe there should be some tropes that die.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's one of them that should die.
I think it probably, I'm guessing things that are being made now have less old man pervert in them.
Like
there's old man pervert, and then there's like old man pervert. And he's like, I don't know. We're not trying to look at it from a lens of today saying cancel it. It's just interesting to see how every episode incorporates it at least several times.
And maybe there are some tropes that we can leave in the past, and not saying that they won't be there for you to enjoy in the animes that already have them. You can always go back and rewatch those animes and enjoy those tropes as much as you do now. But maybe, like, you know, as we evolve as people and become more open-minded to other people's experiences, and
we've stopped burning people at the stake,
more empathetic about things, we, like, you know, no longer portray certain highly problematic things in our pop culture, so that way it doesn't become reinforced as like normal.
Yeah, actually, we watched a very interesting thing about how even the like American or like not American Identity, but the white picket fence stuff, how much of it was just like crafted by think tanks in advertising departments that convince an entire generation of how they're supposed to be, and it's, you know, been passed on all because of when they returned from war, the advertising campaigns kind of made them feel, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Because I will also say, as a woman who has had to interact with creepy old men that just want to pinch your ass because they're like 87 and you're like 25 and they feel entitled to do so.
Because they're old.
It is uncomfortable. And I wish at some point in their life they hadn't been exposed to media that made them feel that it was appropriate to do that to me.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it's the old men getting away with things because they're old stuff. And I'm sure there's women that do it too, and, you know, it's just weird. I mean, it's fine. Some people would like. I'm sure there's a category for it on websites that have adult documentaries. Go there. Or like Craigslist. I'm sure you can type on Craigslist. Or like Tinder, you can set your age range. Set it to the 80s if you want.
Yeah, I get that the comedy is that they always get rejected and often get punched in the face. And I'm not like I'm saying, like, we're watching the old Dragon Ball and we're enjoying it and we're laughing at it, and I get those jokes. I'm just saying, like, there's certain tropes that can and maybe should be left in the past. And if you want to go enjoy that, that media will always be there for you to watch and enjoy. And I'm not going to judge anybody for going and rewatching it.
And we're not saying it puts us off.
Yeah.
It's just, watching it back and thinking of
it is really
it being
strange.
consumed as younger, just how much of that would have been like, who is this for? Because like when my cousin was watching it he watched most of it, right? I watched it auxiliary through him when I was younger, but it's just, oh yeah, Jason, we're not trying to argue with you or anything or backtrack on what we're saying or whatever. It's just interesting because it's like that when you think about animated shows that you think initially, oh, animated kids, but they're made by adults.
Oh yeah.
So, and a lot of them do, it's not necessarily something that is made for a kid.
I will say though, that's also the problem with like stuff being brought over from Japan is like the people bringing it over might kind of know that, but also don't really care. They just kind of make the assumption like, oh, it's a cartoon, therefore it's for kids, without like truly understanding that in Japan, anime isn't necessarily aimed at children. It is aimed more towards it's like an adult audience for the most part. And I think that is where like a lot of confusion comes in the North American market.
Silly Hat Man needs to send help to Calgary Stampede.
Oh.
There's so much Western animation now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like what's that one with
even Amazon's made a couple. Not the boys. Invincible?
Yes, that's what I was just trying to think of. Like the guy who played Glenn.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well, Silly. Actually, yeah, video games and animation are becoming much more adult. It's just interesting because like there's so many shows we all watch that when you actually say, if you watch some of them and you think to yourself, who did they actually make this for? You know what I mean? Like in Japan, I think it was probably made for young adults to old teenagers and up.
Well, it's like,
whereas I think Western culture was pushing it to children just because it was animated.
Yeah. Well, I know in Japan, for example, there's a huge culture of like they have these young female pop stars that are around like 13, 14, 15 years old, but the main their main fan group is like old men.
Well, look at Justin Bieber.
Oh yeah.
I worked with like 50-year-old women that made weird remarks about him when he was underage, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
Really? This is weird. So, it is, the world's an interesting place. I think the internet has shown us that a lot of us share the same positive traits, but then there's a lot of people that share the same negative traits, and they get in these echo chambers of literally, when we talk about people don't have a grip on reality, I think it's because reality is being defined differently by people now. Like if you're literally just in a certain subsect of life for years, you literally stop thinking about how much of it out there is different from whatever the hell you're doing.
Well, I was saying to Evan, given like the whole Colleen Ballinger situation, because she's around our age, she's a year older than me. Given, and like just us watching Dragon Ball, I was like, if, assuming she was exposed to the same kind of pop culture shit that we were, I can see in a really twisted way why she thought that that was an appropriate way to talk to minors. Because...
Or to talk in general,
because like there was a lot of weirdly suggestive sexual stuff that was part of pop culture when we were growing up. And I'm not saying it's negative or positive,
the
but
old man pervert thing,
or just look at how hypersexualized the early 2000s were. It was just a part of pop culture, and I'm by no way saying what she did was appropriate by any stretch of the fucking imagination. Please don't get me wrong on that. I am just saying in a really twisted way, I can understand how her exposure to what we grew up with could make her think what she was doing was not completely inappropriate.
I
But that being said,
necessarily-
don't say fucking weird shit like that to kids.
I don't necessarily think she's the best example for that. In
No.
the sense of she did say weird shit that is no one should say to kids. But I think you're meaning like we grew up with like dead baby jokes and South Park and things that that a lot of people had that mentality of if one thing is okay to joke about, everything's okay to joke about.
And just think about the early 2000s, how everyone was so like, the biggest thing in the news was talking about Britney Spears' virginity, right?
Yeah.
And it was like I said, the early 2000s were weirdly hypersexualized.
Britney Spears, though, needed to be sacrificed for a better harvest.
And obviously, once again, I'm not defending her Colleen Ballinger's actions, because they were clearly going up until like right before she was exposed.
She was an adult. That's fucked up.
Yeah, well, I think she finally left that Colleen's Weenies chat weeks before all of this shit got exposed. So it was clearly going up until recently, which even makes it more fucked up because she has 3 kids. That's what really confuses me. There should have become a point, especially after she became a parent, that she had to think to herself oh, I wouldn't want someone to talk to my kids like this.
Yeah,
but apparently never. Yeah, being sex positive is absolutely a great thing, but then there's also that divide, or that level where it's you're now just being fucking creepy, talking to kids about creepy shit and being weird.
Yeah, I think it's hard to justify, or it's hard to put yourself in her position, because that's just so, you don't know how she grew up or whatever. People have accused her brother of creepy things. Who the fuck knows what crafted in her mind that it was appropriate to talk to people that she knew was too young to be talked to like that. Chances are, in her life growing up, that's how she was treated.
Yeah.
She even made reference to, don't you know that creepy uncle at the family gathering?
Yeah.
And so it points out that there's probably things that she has considered normalized that are actually not appropriate.
What's the saying? Hurt people hurt. And so I wouldn't be surprised if at some point something inappropriate happened to her and she just contextualized it as normal.
And people around her, depending on where she grew up too, were probably don't be, why are you being such a weirdo about it? Or or her, who the fuck knows, right? And again, it's not a justification for anything. It's just usually, when people are talking to younger people, it's usually, or, that's generally who they surround themselves with. It's because people their own age can see their bullshit from a mile away, or they're trying to reclaim something about their childhood they preferred, or, there's some kind of weird, I think there's a good chance that something inappropriate has happened to almost every, see, that's the other thing too, is up until, I don't know, I'm not sure which era it changed where people were finally able to say the creepy uncle is not acceptable. It's fucked up. It's not that long ago in human history that grandparents, parents, people not too far away from you probably suffered something terrible growing up on the farm or some shit.
Yeah.
And when you hear people say, make X a place better again, or make America great again and stuff, they don't know what they're talking about, because it's never been great for everybody. It's only been good for a very small select few. And if they want it back to where that it was, too fucking bad. We've moved past it. When I was saying before about the mindset of, if one thing is okay to joke about, everything's okay. I say iDubbbz. I did that. I thought that way because I make a lot of jokes, right? You can make fun of me about anything, so I can make fun of you about anything. But then as you you get older and I'm going to say your brain fully develops, you kind of start to realize that that's not appropriate because people exist around you. Their reality and their perception,
your actions and words impact other people.
Their reality and their perception changes and it is what it is to them. And because I think something's okay to joke about and ultimately it's just words coming out of my mouth, that doesn't make it true. It still is something that can, like I said earlier, can seep into somebody's brain sponge and live there forever. And that is more devastating than punching them. So in some cases, right? And
you can have like a deep ripple effect on somebody with your words.
Yeah, you just kind of realize more about just how it isn't your objective to get people to think like you. It's just your objective to let everybody live the way, like, according to their inner self.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not your job to change someone. The only thing is, I will say, with a caveat, is if they're doing something evil.
Yeah.
You can stop them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if somebody is fucking robbing an old folks' home, and literally the only reason they can't stand up for themselves is because they can't stand up, you can help them by beating that person up. I'm fine with that. But self-defense only goes so far.
Yeah.
With that being said, hi, Powwow.
Yes, hi.
We were just talking about how certain things in the past that you see in, well, it started with anime.
Yeah.
And then movies and pop culture in general kind of shaped the perspective of, say, what a man thought they needed to be, what a woman thought they needed to be, and it's been happening for, well, we're coming up on probably 100 years now, that something in the media has been telling people how they should be.
Appropriate behavior.
Yeah, as opposed to a religious group or a government telling you how you should be. Yeah. Kind of just this zeitgeist of intangible crap that exists. You know, someone goes, if you don't drive this car, you suck, and everyone goes, that's true, you know, like that odd social behavior that we do.
Jason, it's your dog. I'm sure it doesn't care if it sees you naked. You'd just be like, oh, he is clothed like me now.
He would probably be like, is that why my master never smiles? I'm just kidding. What is that smell? I think it's getting better. Oh yeah, I think it is. Unfortunately, there is sometimes they go too far in the overcorrection.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? But I guess sometimes I just feel like
I don't have
a lot of the idea of what I thought I was supposed to do with my life, it didn't actually come from my parents or my friends or my family, or it was like things that I thought were how life worked because of media I consumed. Right? Like, oh, it's normal to have a station wagon and 3 kids and go on a family vacation.
You grew up from movies thinking it was normal to grab a woman and kiss her because that's what they do in movies.
So we've talked about this, and I've said to Krissy, like, you know how in movies it's like someone's like talking and the guy just like hand behind the head, hand on the waist, pulls him in for a kiss, like, stop talking, here's a kiss. I thought to myself, like, where in God's name would have I ever got the idea that it's appropriate to do that? Just like it wouldn't be appropriate for me to grab your head in any sort of fashion.
For the record, he's never done this to me.
Yeah, it's just been a topic of conversation. Yeah. Like, where would I get the idea that me pushing you up against a wall, restricting your ability to run away, is what you secretly want on the inside?
Yeah.
Because you've never said it to me. And the only thing I can come up with is just the things perpetuated by the things that we watched, or the like you said, James Bond. Like
Yeah.
James Bond was like, it's not cool to say, "Can I give you a kiss?" It's cool to kiss them in such a way they appear so shocked, like they've never been kissed before.
Oh, it's like
Which is now definitely widely known as sexual assault.
I think the movie's called Overboard, and it stars Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. And basically, she's a rich lady and gets thrown off a ship and gets complete total amnesia. And he finds her and lies to her that she's like the parent of his children and like his like lover or whatever.
Yes, I do remember that. And he is like a really good dad or something.
Yeah, but basically like tricks her into being his partner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also the other thing, just my last note on the subject for if there's any people in the incel community that wander in here. Every other animal, it appears that the male is not guaranteed to have a partner and has to present themselves in a way that they would be chosen by a partner. So humans aren't different than that. You can't just expect someone to think you're great if you suck.
I wish I could remember. There's this one island off the coast of Africa, and it's a matriarchal society, and women are completely in charge. They run the economy, they run everything. They're the ones who like pick their spouse. Basically, men are allowed to be seduced by a woman. That is their job. Women are viewed as born as fully complete versus men are not. If a man dies prior to having gone through all like, you know, the life rituals that they do, he becomes an angry ghost that wanders until he can either be like saved by a female ghost or is reborn into a woman's body and then can be like made whole
that
that
a
way.
Himba tribe?
No, it wasn't the Himba tribe, but it was off the coast of Africa.
Jason, you know that we're not talking about people that happen to be single.
Yeah.
We're talking about the rampant misogynistic attitude of basically
guys that hate women because they don't have access to their sex.
Because when they talk to women, like they
turn off women in how they talk
about.
to them, and so the women are like, "There's no way I'm going to partner with you."
The whole traditional
and then they get
wife
even
thing.
more angry that they don't have access.
Yeah,
yes,
I said incels.
He said incels.
I said if the incels are watching.
Yeah.
My only thing was I was saying that every other animal, the male has to peacock to be. Yeah, we are talking about incels.
Yes, you said that.
I'm saying, but not just that women choose. I'm not saying that women always get to choose the partner and the male always has to fight for the partner. But I'm just saying, we are but animals.
Yes.
I've had some interesting dates.
Please
recently.
do tell.
Well, if you want to.
Jason also said that he had a memory that was triggered.
Ducks are bad.
And I want to know.
Don't be a duck.
I want to know about Jason's triggered memory.
It might be because I think he was talking about if his dog judges him when he looks at him.
Oh,
I'm just
naked?
kidding. But I think I brought this up like maybe 45 minutes ago, but just a couple of things that, you know, we thought might be a little interesting, a little earworm tidbits for ye. We were talking about how the FDA was being sicked on Prime Energy by Logan Paul and KSI.
Sorry, I'm just reacting to what Powell just wrote.
One lady asked about marriage 4 dates in. As in, like,
so when are we
getting
get married?
Or, like, what do you think about it? But, yes, the FDA was looking into Prime Energy by Logan Paul and KSI because it contained as much caffeine as 6 cans of Coke. And it was being advertised to children. And children were reporting, you know, heart palpitations, increased anxiety, insomnia, stuff like that. So Canada has actually banned it. recalled it completely. It exceeds Canada's limit of proposed milligrams of caffeine by 20 milligrams. Get it the fuck out the dough.
I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments.
Yeah, I
the
know.
comments are so crazy.
Would you like to read them?
Sorry. Powell said that the lady he went on dates with asked about marriage 4 dates in, as in when are they getting married, and Jason's triggered memory was about getting out of the shower and his dog licking his naked body in places that should not be licked by.
Jason! Clock the goddamn door.
Okay, sorry. Back to 20 milligrams of caffeine in the KSI drinks. I'm so sorry.
No, apparently it's not interesting. So we're gonna leave it there. Unless you'd like, did you hear anything I said about it?
Yeah, that it exceeds Health Canada's limit by 20 milligrams.
Yeah. It was also being sold on Walmart's online marketplace, but was removed right after CBC News asked about it. So the weird thing about this particular situation is they also did like a faked viral campaign of having people throw empty cans at them to try and sell it. But in and amongst Logan Paul not reimbursing anyone for the multi-million-dollar cryptocurrency scam for his stupid little what was it called with the eggs and they hatch and stuff?
Oh yeah,
Crypto Zoo or something. But yeah, it's the commercialization of caffeine is insane. It's like the same thing that they're doing with legalized marijuana. It's not like they're selling caffeinated like their coffee and tea were the prime sources of caffeine for people outside of like nuts and stuff, right? And THC is what was in weed getting people high. So they've extracted those components and they're commercializing just those, right? When you think of all of the synthesized marijuana and stuff that's out there now. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that just like everything else, we take the one facet that they deem people want and just jack it up to 1,000. It's meant to be the same as energy drinks such as Red Bull and Monster. Doggy's in the bathroom. I don't want to support Paul anyway, so I'll never buy the drink. Yeah, I just find, with things like, anxiety and stuff like that, I know several people under the age of like 16 that are, on antidepressants. Not that, I was at 18 and I'm sure people in the past needed them and stuff, but one thing I know for sure that doesn't help is copious amounts of caffeine. Like, as you say, when you drink too much caffeine.
Get the God-sightedness.
Yeah, you feel the fear. Get your caffeine crack. This one, I didn't know if we wanted to talk about it or not, but one of the Charles Manson followers was released. Or one of the people that was originally charged with. Oh. I thought this was...
Just 10 minutes from Canada's busiest highway sits this serene lake.
Because there's that whole thing that happened with the previewing Canada media on sites. I bet you it's probably copyright stuff or whatever to watch it. Bill C-18 that we talked about?
We can't watch. No, I don't think that has anything to do with us not being able to watch Canadian news. It has to do with the algorithms not going to necessarily promote like global news top in the I don't think that it would affect us. Anyway. But I don't know.
Well, I just meant because it's probably copywritten video to watch. You're on about 10 cups of tea a day. Is that I know black teas can come in pretty close to like a coffee, So I'd imagine you were jumping off the ceiling. That's quite a bit of hot liquid. The other thing that one of the other things I came across that was quite interesting is apparently humans have changed the planet so much that we are geologically leaving our footprint that would be actually noticeable, that something happened here through the evidence left behind, the layer of the sediment and stuff. So it's called the Anthropocene. Anthropocene?
I have no idea.
Anthropocene.
Anthropocene? But basically in in a tiny but deep lake in southern Ontario, they found evidence from the different layers of sediment starting at kind of the 1950s era. From what I've seen looking further, the date is very up in the air if it's earlier or later than the 1950s. But that's where it would be changed from the current time epoch that we're in, which is called I can't remember, I'll get there. But either way, basically the Anthropocene means human era, basically showing that within a short span of time the system flipped. We can't go back, meaning that in this 1950s they found like plutonium and stuff, basically non-naturally occurring chemicals where they shouldn't be, indicating that if something probed the earth, just like we went, oh, there was dinosaurs at this point, someone could say there was something else at this point, which was us, causing this so-called golden spike, which shows that we've changed the planet so fundamentally it changes the way that they describe how we occupy the epoch we live in. Not that I know a ton about this stuff. Are you more familiar, being that you took
a little bit, but I haven't read any of this, so I don't know. You're the one who found the article and is bringing the news. Tell me the interesting facts.
Well, I just thought we'd kind of look at it and see what comes up. I can't remember. This wasn't the one that I was specifically reading on my phone, but basically yeah. Yeah, maybe the one that I found had more sensationalized topics in it, because I thought I had read two separate things, but they actually turned out to be an article about the same thing, where we've pumped so much liquid out of the earth it's actually changing the shape of the planet, and from basically all of our human activity since the Industrial Revolution has left a stain upon the earth in a noticeable layer that if an alien probed the earth, they would say things were the same for what the previous article I read, 11,700 years, and then something happened that drastically changed what the planet was like. And it's interesting because there's still so many people that don't think it's real, because it's been cold in the past, so it's going to be cold now. And we didn't have science or the technology back then to scan stuff, so do we know if it's a current day event or it's a cyclical event, you know? And I mean, I guess it's tough to say what it could be, but I mean, you think you'd err on the side of caution, right? Like if it's your two options are impending disaster and death of billions of people, or like not that. You think you would just like maybe find a middle ground and like keep people protected in a sort of way. But yeah, the only other thing I had seen was that Charles Manson, Leslie Van Houten, which actually that's kind of why I clicked on it, because that's like the coffee, is
no, Van Hoot.
Oh, Van Hoot. Oh. That's what caught my eye initially. I thought it was the coffee brand, and then I was like, "Oh shit, even worse."
Which is like notoriously kind of shitty coffee.
Yeah.
It's not that great.
She served 53 years as her participation in the what was her name? The celebrity.
Oh yeah.
That they killed.
Yeah. There was like a few people in the house, but she was married to child predator. The one who diddled a kid and then fled to
Lino LaBianca and his wife
Sharon
Rosemary.
Tate. That was
Sharon Tate. Yes, that's the. So she's 73 years old now, meaning she went to jail when she was 20, and she was actually put up for parole or like potentially granted parole in 2020, but
Oh, does she still have the cross? Let's scroll.
The governor,
Can I have the famous wiener in my
Gavin Newsom, blocked it and said, "No, we're not letting her out." But apparently, this time around, they decided not to do anything. That like to block it again.
And this is going to be a controversial opinion. I don't think she's going to be a threat to any.
Yeah, I mean. We've watched quite a bit on it, and I don't fully remember who, they've said was the ones who did the actions or the ones that were just there.
Well, the ones that were there all participate.
Yeah, I struggle in certain circumstances to understand the rehabilitability.
Rehabilitation?
Yes, the rehabilitation ability of some people. But it's just out of fear, right? I don't know. I struggle because we don't have the death penalty like some places in the States. But there's times I find myself saying, I don't know why Robert Pickton gets to live.
And the fact that technically he will go up for parole at some point is disgusting.
Like,
well, I know a lot of people were really pissed off because Paul Bernardo got sent to a different
lower security
prison, but it's still like pretty high. Like the security's pretty high. It's not like he's gonna get out. And basically, like the Court of Canada were like, if we don't send him, it goes against like his human rights. Like keep him in like super high security prison his entire sentence. Like I don't think he's ever going to get out of jail, unlike how Karla Homolka did.
The one thing we've learned about, is it Japan or South Korea?
Japan.
Their
death penalty.
Yeah, when they have someone on the death penalty, they don't tell them the day.
They basically show up and they're like, in 2 hours, you're going to be executed.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, like, it's, I mean, obviously there's tons of nuance and gray area to, like, that's why the law is what the law is, to determine why someone would do something like that, right? Self-defense or first degree, second degree, third degree manslaughter, whatever, all that stuff. And I mean, it's tough to pass judgment, but that there's some people that have done so many terrible things that it's just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why do they keep getting to share the planet with the people that are left behind in the wake of all those they were taken from them? I know it's tough. Thankfully, I've never had to be in a situation where someone close to me was in something where I had to deal with the feelings personally and not just like from an outsider perspective. But it's crazy. Crazy stuff. Maybe we watch too much true crime, and that's what makes us think that there's so many people doing. Well, no, people are doing crazy things.
No, there's constantly people doing crazy. Do you hear about that boy who turned up? Not boy, he's an adult now. That guy who turned up in like I think Texas that disappeared like 5 years ago, and it turns out that his mom had basically like
made him think that because
she made him play daddy. That's the best way I can say that.
Well, that's how. Yeah, we watched something that.
That's how they worded it.
But so this little boy.
He wasn't little. He was 18 when he went missing. Found 8 years later.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought he was like.
No, he was 18 when he went. He took his dogs for a walk. And when he was 18 and went missing. In reality, his mom had like basically tied him up in the bedroom. He
did escape like a couple times, I guess, in his life. Yeah. And he came back, and then his mom convinced him if anyone found out, he would be taken or something.
Yeah, clearly the mom was manipulative and abusive. And told people around that it was like her cousin or nephew or something like that. I don't know. Either way.
The mom lied the entire time. She said, no idea what happened, and she, persisted to try and have efforts move forward to find him. And the neighbors were like, she would show pictures and say, oh, it's my nephew living with me. And the neighbors are like, no, it isn't. But yeah, it was such a, she was drugging him too.
Right, yeah.
Wasn't she putting like LSD in his coffee or something?
I'm not sure. Yeah, some people are just evil. Absolutely. It was like that one guy in Austria that kept his daughter locked in this like weird sub-basement that he had built, and he had like multiple kids with her.
And while his wife still lived with them upstairs.
Yeah, and he would bring some of the kids upstairs to live, and then left some of them down in the dungeon to be down there with her, and then one of them got sick, and that's the only reason that everything was found out. People are weird. And I guarantee there's more of that weird shit going on in the world out there, unfortunately.
It's, I honestly, alls I can say is you all be good people and do nice things.
Do nice things.
Save frogs with rakes.
I have a really nice cucumber.
Get your own rake of destiny.
I have a really nice cucumber I'm going to cut from my garden today, so that's a good thing.
Do you want to show them cutting the cucumber? Nah. We'll show you a picture of how big it is. It's like from my elbow to my wrist. That long. Which is apparently the size of my foot. Yours too. Not mine, but your forearm. We are probably gonna... Was there anything else that you thought might be interesting to talk about?
No.
Yeah, you guys are hero to frogs everywhere. I just wonder if it was actually...
He is, I'm not. I bitched out.
The same frog that we found over by the gooseberry bush.
And the same one I saw by the water container?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
But
yeah, thank you everybody for coming and hanging out. Obviously, it's been... great time talking. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Let's show you the Jinjee boy.
Alright.
Boop. Jinjee sleeping.
He's so cute.
Yeah. Thanks for the stream. So glad I could catch you. Yeah, thank you for coming in, Deadweight and Dan and Phil and Bracken and Jason and Silly
my
and
brother
Cryo. It means a lot to us just being able to chat with our good old friends
We also got some new subscribers last night, so that's pretty awesome. We're now at 66.
Yeah, it's been nice to be able to take little pieces of it and throw it out there for people to be able to catch pieces of you with the amount of time they have available.
We can edit out all the shitty bits and compress it down to the 15 seconds that are actually funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or interesting.
Yeah.
Some of it's more interesting than funny.
Yeah.
But the problem is we might think it's interesting, and Jinjee's obviously sleeping. Loving the shorts? I'm wearing pants. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding. Take care, everybody. Much love to you. Thank you again for coming in. We will talk to you soon.